Hello and welcome to the local campaign helping voters make an informed choice in the upcoming municipal election. I'm your host, Jeff Pickle from 570 News. Tonight we have Cambridge Ward 3 debate. Cambridge's 3rd ward is located in the city's central west region and contains Preston Center. Its boundaries are made up of Hespeler Road to the east, Dunbar Road and the Grand River to the south, the Speed River to the west, and then a combination of Eagle Street north and Langs Drive to the northwest and northeast. The candidates vying for the council seat are the incumbent, Mike Mann, TRACY HIPEL, and Patricia Burkowski. Speaking order was drawn before the debate, so with the opening remarks, here is Patricia Burkowski.
Hi, I'm Patricia Burkowski. I've never done this before, not even in school. But I want my voice to be your voice. Thank you.
And now moving to TRACY HIPEL.
Hello, my name is TRACY HIPEL and I grew up in Cambridge. I attended Ryerson Public School, William G. Davis, and Preston High. Ward 3 deserves a councillor who cares deeply for the future of this ward. My family has deep roots in this community. I currently reside in my family home in Ward 3, and I love this area and hope to be able to keep it a friendly and family-oriented community. I have always been active in the community, either by coaching, refereeing, or playing sports. I have also volunteered with various groups. Ward 3 is facing many issues, but the one that keeps coming up is that the residents feel they are being left out of important decisions that affect their community. The decisions being made should be made based on communication between the ward councillor and the needs of the residents, and not just based on what city staff recommends. I will be the voice for residents and ensure the continued growth and invigoration of the downtown area. The residents in Ward 3 deserve a strong voice on Cambridge City Council. I am running to give you that voice. Change is needed in order to improve communication between residents and council and to provide more accountability from your elected officials. Taxpayers of Ward 3 and all of Cambridge must be respected now more than ever. It is you who pay the city's bills, and it must be you who decides how your tax dollars are spent. Thank you.
And next we have Mike Mann.
Thank you, Jeff. First, I'd like to thank Rogers for arranging this interview opportunity. My name is Mike Mann, and I am the incumbent for Ward 3 and have been for the past 4 years. I consider it a privilege and an honor to serve my community, and I look forward to providing the same timely, professional quality assistance during the next term. My parents, through personal example, taught me the value of serving others and the joy and pleasure you can experience in providing that assistance. My whole career has been dedicated to serving others, first as a police officer for 35 years and as your ward councillor for the past 4 years. I have lived in Cambridge for more than half a century and reside in Preston, Ward 3. I have 2 adult children, a son who is an orthopedic surgeon, and a daughter who is a graduate with her master's in performance French horn and religious studies. I also have 2 grandchildren. Working as your ward councillor is a full-time job. I am available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to serve you. I will address your issues, help identify problems, and develop and implement solutions. During the first term on council, there is much to learn. We have seen the completion of streetscaping and infrastructure replacement in downtown Hespeler and the completion of the old post office building in Galt. Now is the time for Preston. While these other projects were being completed, the groundwork, the infrastructure replacement along King Street, has been finalized and will take place over the next 2 years. During that time, King Street between Dover and Bishop will be revitalized. The 60-day public review of the dam in Riverside Park will be completed this Friday and will finally move ahead. The best route for the LRT entering Cambridge is yet to be determined and can only be done with consultation of the community and all stakeholders. There is much to do in Cambridge and more in Preston. I have worked on these projects and I am committed to seeing them through, making Preston prosper.
Okay, thank you, candidates. We'll now get into the question and answer portion of the debate. Each candidate will have, again, 2 minutes to answer each of the following questions. And we're going to begin with a question. What is the #1 issue facing Ward 3, and how would you address it as a member of City Council? We're going to begin with TRACY HIPEL.
#1 issue right now is accountability and lack of communication. Residents keep saying that they're not finding out when things are happening in the town. They're not being advised what's going in, and there's just a lack of what dealing with taxpayers' money. They feel that it's being wasted and not being spent back in the community. Again, it's not being heard. They call, they don't get a decision. They don't find any information out from City Hall and are left on their own, and they have to decide who to go to and where to turn. So the big decision right now is we need accountability for the residents and somebody to step up for those residents.
Thank you. Now to Mike Mann.
Thank you, Jeff. There are many issues facing Preston right now, and I can think of the dam in Riverside Park as one. The construction along King Street that's going to take place over the next 2 years is another. But I really think the big issue right now is the LRT route. And we know that the LRT is coming to Cambridge. We don't know where it's going to come into Preston, but we know that it was supposed to go along Eagle Street all the way to Industrial Road. A small group of residents in Cambridge got together and said, we don't want the LRT through Preston. And we got together as a group and we said, instead of just saying no, let's come up with some alternatives. And this group identified numerous alternatives as to where the LRT could go instead of right up Eagle Street, displacing numerous people and numerous homes. And this group came together, presented their recommendations to Regional Council. And it was at Regional Council when they made these recommendations that their voice was heard. And so I think it's very important when we have an issue that's important to the community that we get together as a group and we talk about it and we present solutions that can be taken before council. The solution that was recommended by this group was to take a spur line behind what used to be Catherine McGarry's office and take it all the way up to Industrial Road. And this saves having to take out numerous homes on Eagle Street, displacing people and letting those folks maintain the memories and traditions that they have. So I think the LRT route through Preston is very important, and I think with this group coming together, we will be able to identify the most appropriate route through Preston and making sure we have all the stakeholders involved and making sure we hear what the people have to say.
Okay, thank you. Now to Patricia Burkowski.
I believe both you gentlemen have very good points, but I more agree with Tracy than Mike, sorry. But the people aren't being heard. That's what I heard from many people that I've talked to in Ward 3, that they have no voice. And I really want to make it so that they do have a voice, whether it has to do with the LRT or drugs or homelessness, all of it. I want them to have a voice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, candidates. We'll now get into question number 2 and another very much hot button topic particularly in Cambridge on safe injection sites. The opioid crisis has hit Cambridge particularly hard. Do you support a safe injection site in your community? And if so, where should it be? We'll begin this question with Mike Mann.
Thank you. There are many different people who are addicted to opioids. We have people who have been prescribed an opioid because they've been involved in an accident and need the opioid as a pain relief. There are people who choose to take it as a drug, and the consequences are there. I've visited supervised injection sites in Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, and London, and I've seen how supervised injection sites operate. I believe that this is a health issue. And I really think that we need to come together with a rehabilitation service that is all-encompassing for people. It needs to be a service that is centrally located, available by transit or car, and available to everyone. And that might involve having a location where you can inject. But the whole idea is to be able to really have people come together and be rehabilitated. And I think that location is at our hospital because it is a health issue. And Cambridge Memorial Hospital has got a project on the go that's almost completed, and I think the vacant building that we have there would be the ideal location to have a wraparound service of all the rehabilitation services that would help address this issue and provide the service needed for the folks who are affected.
Okay, Patricia Burkowski.
For me, I agree with Mike on that one, that it should be in the hospital and the safe injection site should be there. Making it that all the doctors are there, nurses, all the staff, and the space is there.
Okay, thank you. TRACY, HIPEL?
I actually agree with both. I think the hospital has stepped up. I think that's a great place to do it. They do have the trained staff. Downtown core is not the spot for an SIS. It's problems. It's an ongoing problem, and we can't just Band-Aid this. It's getting rampant in our city, and it's affecting the downtown cores and all three of them. We have people staying out in parks now, and it has to be addressed. We just cannot do this. But without the provincial government giving us funding, we have to look at where we're going to find funding to be able to operate this. We can't rely strictly on Cambridge taxpayers to pay for this. Simcoe House just today announced that they are not going to be doing it anymore with the bridges due to not getting any funding. We're going to have to step up as a community here, get groups together, get the health department, Waterloo Region Health involved, and as a community come together on where we want to put this, because the hospital still might be only a temporary solution, and until we get one, we're going to struggle with this. It's an ongoing issue that affects everybody. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, candidates. Let's continue speaking about the core areas of Cambridge, particularly the Preston core. Do you think the Preston core area is healthy and successful? If not, what would you do to change it? And we'll begin this question with Patricia Burkowski.
I think that part of the problem is the businesses that are coming in really quick and then disappearing just as quickly. If we can get businesses that come in and last, that'll be good for the community.
Okay, thank you. Now on to TRACY HIPEL.
Yep, last Friday I did a walk around in Preston, and I stopped in a lot of the stores, and what's concerning to quite a few of them is the new construction that's going to be going down King Street. They're worried that this is going to have a big input like the LRT in Kitchener and Waterloo have had. Just by the construction on King Street down by Dover Flour Mills, one business told me they've lost 20% of their business due to traffic, and it hasn't come back. We got to really help these people and determine when scheduling and how they're going to maintain being profitable. And that the only way we're going to do that is communication once again with the store owners and the city officials and your ward councillor. We need to keep this downtown vibrant. We do not want to lose the Preston downtown core. It's vital that we keep that core, and we got to keep the people up to date. Thanks.
Mike Mann.
Yes, I agree that our core areas are vibrant, and they work the individuals in business work very hard to maintain that. They're determined, they're dedicated, and they're committed. And when I think about our downtown businesses, I think about the shopping malls that have come to pass. I think about our box stores, and I think about online shopping. And throughout all these ups and downs, our downtown has been able to maintain business and to keep on serving the public in the way that they have, which is unique when you have all these other opportunities on shopping. The city has invested in the core areas, and Preston is the next core area to be developed. And we have a plan in place. When we talk about what that plan is, 3 blocks of King Street will be done at a time, so that not everything is closed down when the construction takes place. But it is going to be difficult, and we need to make sure that we turn this negative into a positive, because there will be positive things that the Business Improvement Association will do in conjunction with the city to make sure that we keep the businesses flourishing in the downtown core. People make the difference, and when I think about the BIA and the people on the BIA, we have very dedicated members, and they use Central Park as a main location and main theme. They have the ice rink there in the wintertime. We have the music festival. We have the farmers market and skating, our memorial services, and more. And we have a very unique core, and it's all about the people who work there and make a living there, and it's about the way that they embrace their business and make it an opportunity for people to enjoy, and it's a pleasure for people coming downtown.
Okay, thank you, candidates. Sticking with the Preston core area, there's 2 years of construction scheduled for King Street. How would you alleviate traffic issues in that area and help support the businesses located on King Street? We'll begin this question with TRACY HIPEL.
Well, it's going to be difficult to do. I haven't seen any plans yet, but the only way to reroute would be to either Hamilton, Queenston, or Eagle, and then on concession, and make sure that there's enough signage up to help keep these businesses going. The King Street artery is the main artery for Highway 8 to get out of town, and we've seen that how the bridge out in Blair affected getting out of Cambridge and Preston especially. to park somewhere, we might have to be able to park in Riverside and then transit bus these people up. At least give them an opportunity to help the community and the businesses, because with the length of time this is, like I said, people are worried that this is really going to hurt their business, and once the business is gone, they're afraid that the traffic is not going to come back and support these businesses. So whatever we can do to keep these businesses alive, we got to make every opportunity for these. And I think the planning, especially, like Mike said, we're going to be doing this in two block terms or 3 block sessions, and that's going to be the only way. But we really got to promote these businesses and help them out all we can by advertising that they're still here. Thanks.
Mike.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, the downtown core is really going to be stressed when we think about the construction that's going to take place, and it's going to take place over 2 years. And the first year would be Dover to Laurel, and that would be cut into 2 sections, so it would be Dover to Westminster and then Westminster to Laurel. And the second year would be Laurel to Bishop, and again it would be 2 increments to complete that work. And 2 lanes of traffic, 1 in either direction, will be maintained throughout the construction period, but that is still going to create difficulty for the business owners and people using the downtown because of limited access to the businesses. And I think one of the things that we need to do, and we have to do, is make sure that traffic will use the alternate or parallel streets to King Street. They will use Queenston Road and Hamilton Street, and they will use Duke Street and William Street to get around the construction. We have got to make sure that we have appropriate traffic calming measures in place there, because we have schools in those locations, and we want to make sure that we keep the residents and the students safe. And so we have got to make sure we communicate and continue to communicate not only with the BIA but with each business along the route to make sure they know what's going to happen, how it's going to impact them, and how we can help them survive through this time. And again, we have to make it a positive situation. As bad as it is, we have to try and make it a positive situation and encourage people to continue to use the downtown core. The downtown core is the heartbeat of our community, and we want to make sure that we keep it thriving and busy, because, like I said, it's the heartbeat of Preston, and we want to make sure that it stays that way.
Okay, thank you. Patricia?
Thriving and busy is definitely what we need to do, keeping it that way. It's going to be difficult, but with doing it in two to 3 blocks at a time, it should be able to be done, as long as we have enough signage for everybody to know which stores are still open and how to get there.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk about now another hot button issue that's been mentioned a few times already in tonight's chat, and that is the LRT through Cambridge. Would you support LRT Phase 2, a plan that involves tracks running through Preston? And we'll begin this with Mike.
Thank you, Jeff. You know, I still think that the LRT is such a contentious issue. It's coming to Cambridge, and we know it's going to come into Preston. And I think the way that we're going to be able to, we only have one chance to do this, and we have to do it right. And the way to do it is to get all the stakeholders together, bring them together, and to let them know that the LRT is coming. To have the LRT come down Shantz Hill, across the river and across the trail, and make a hard left turn onto Eagle Street, it doesn't seem feasible to me. I think there are all kinds of alternatives to that, and I think if we get this group that was opposed to the LRT through Preston, and we get them to come together and work with all the stakeholders, we will be able to come up with a solution that is appropriate and takes into consideration all those who are concerned about the LRT, and we will come up with an appropriate way into Cambridge. I think when you have something this big and this important, it's probably the biggest and most important issue that's ever faced Cambridge. By bringing the people together, we will come up with the proper solution to the problem, but not unless we bring the people, the community together, because they're the ones who know their community. They are the ones who live there. They know what the impact is going to be. And so bringing the community together, talking about solutions and possible solutions, and then coming up with one and presenting it to the region, I think that's the solution to the problem. And I think when we work with the community, we'll come up with the right answer.
Okay, thank you. Patricia?
We do have to work with the community for the LRT. In hindsight, I have no idea what the plans are, but looking over to BC, British Columbia, they've got the SkyTrain. It makes multiple stops throughout the whole of, from Vancouver right down to White Rock, and it's fantastic. They go above ground, and if we can adopt that instead of having it on railroad tracks through the city, I think it would be better.
Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, that's a number one concern we hear too. I too have met with the Stop the LRT group, and I've seen some of the proposed routes. I'm actually against fixed rail. What I would rather see is rapid bus. With the fixed rail, we're going to be running a single route. Once it's in, you cannot change it. You can't go anywhere else than that fixed route. The community, Hespeler, I don't think will get any benefit. Anybody that lives over the Grand River will not see any benefit. And industrial malls that are going up by Toyota will not see benefit. And a lot of the new subdivisions that are going out on the west side are not going to see benefit. If we were going to do it, why are we going downtown Galt? It could stop at our mall, the same place as everybody else is. I'm around train of thought here. Like I said, the rapid bus, I believe, is the best way. Can do certain stops. It will feed to wherever we do. We're looking at spending $1.5 billion on this project. We don't even have a pilot yet. When they finally get the route, before we do any rail, why don't we run a pilot, put a bus on, see what the ridership is before we do any commitment. If the ridership is not there, that will show that this will not work and we should stay with the rapid bus. I truly believe that this will work in Kitchener and Waterloo because they're building up along their main roads. Cambridge is not. We're building out, and we still have to get out and then come back in to get the rail. I still believe that rapid bus is the best way to go.
Okay, thank you, candidates. Now to wrap up the transportation side of this debate. What's your vision for the future of transportation in the city of Cambridge? And we'll begin this question with Patricia.
Like I said with the last one, if we can go the way of BC with the SkyTrain, I think it would be a lot better.
Okay, thank you. Tracy.
I'm going to stay with my rapid bus. I think rapid buses or bus system is the best way to go. We can implement where it needs to go. If people need to get up to the industrial malls, we can add the buses. There's a lot of buses that everybody sees every day. There's nobody on them. We need to really look at where we're running these buses, get the people to where they need to go. And we're also in the future. We're looking at autonomous vehicles. So is that the wave of buses? Possibly. But I disagree with the light rail, but I really agree with the buses.
Mike.
Thank you. And when I look at the 401 and the expansion to 10 lanes, I think that acknowledges the growth and the importance of Cambridge and the region to the rest of the province and the country. We've been called the Silicon Valley of the North, Waterloo region, and so we see that the 401 has become a very important link to Toronto. And the amount of traffic on that highway and the time that people spend on the highway is incredible. The worst thing is when you get involved in an accident or there's a problem on the highway and you sit there in the parking lot for hours on end. People unfortunately waste a lot of time. I think a GO train to Toronto would be ideal. We already have one from Kitchener. And I know that the province has been working with the city to try and get one from Toronto to Cambridge, and that would be ideal. The LRT is a regional decision, and that decision has been made. And if it's going to come, then it has got to take us to the mall, and it has got to take us downtown to the bus station so that people can get on the LRT and they can get on a GO train from there and go to Toronto. I think the LRT will run through Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, linking all three communities, and the GO train from Cambridge to Toronto will be an ideal location for people to get to work. Do I see that happening in the near future? No. I think that's going to take a considerable amount of time, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to see what happens in Kitchener and Waterloo. We will learn from that before anything significant happens in Cambridge. That's why I think it's really important that we take the time to find out the best possible route into Preston, into Cambridge. And if that's Preston, then we really need to make sure we work with the community to find the best possible route into our city.
Okay, thank you, candidates. I now want to ask a question that was brought up by recently by a current city councillor who is running again this term as well. That idea was brought forward that Cambridge should possibly be looking to break away from the region of Waterloo entirely, possibly as a standalone city or some type of service board model, as opposed to the current structure that Cambridge fits within the region of Waterloo. I want to ask the question, do you think The City of Cambridge needs to shake up its relation with the region of Waterloo, and we'll begin this with TRACY HIPEL.
I've seen that question on, and I don't think we can break up with Waterloo Region. We wouldn't be able to afford the infrastructure, and taxes would be raised. We would never be able to do it. The only thing I would see is possibly our fire department becoming Waterloo Regional Fire Department too, where our police is already Waterloo Region. We have various things going with Waterloo Region. So no, I can't see it. Cambridge is too small to be able to support it on our own. We did it a long time ago, but I think with the way the people are growing and all that, there's no way Cambridge could go on our own. We would just, it'd be too much money. Thanks.
Thank you. Mike?
Thanks. I think I agree with TRACY. The cost involved would be significant. We have regional services as far as the police are concerned, as far as water is concerned, our buses are concerned, and so many more social services. A lot of regional services that come into Cambridge. And we've spent the past 45 years working together as a community as Cambridge and also with the region. So not only did we join the region, but three towns, three communities, Galt, Preston, Hesper, and Blair came together to form Cambridge, and then we build that relationship with the region. And I think we've done a good job at working on that relationship, and we've invested a lot. We've invested a lot of money, and the infrastructure is there from a regional perspective. And if Cambridge was to break away, I don't know how you would do that, and the cost would be significant and probably insurmountable.
Patricia?
I agree with both of you. The cost would be way too much for all the different things that we'd have to cover for ourselves.
Okay, thank you, candidates. Let's now turn to the next question, which is, how would you help council develop a strategy to bring new businesses to the city? And we're going to begin this question with Mike Mann.
Thanks, Jeff. I believe that business wants to come to Cambridge because Cambridge has got a lot of amenities that are appealing to businesses and families. When business comes to the city, they look for things that will attract families and keep them here. They look for things like sports, culture, theater, trails, to name a few. And one of the things that we have is the river that touches all three of our core areas. And they look for educational facilities. We have the School of Architecture. We have close proximity to the college and to all the universities. And so there are many services that are here that would draw people to our community, not only for business, but for their families as well. And Cambridge has developed a one-point contact person at City Hall so that when business does come, you don't have to go to different branches or different departments in the city. You speak to one person, and all those planning documents and all those forms that have to be obtained can be obtained through one person. And we have shovel-ready land. So I think those are very important things. Shovel-ready land so that it doesn't take forever for a business to become established here. One of the things that we know is that 80% of economic growth comes from companies that are already here, and what they do is they share their ideas with other companies, or they expand themselves within the community. And then 20% are influenced by those who are already here. So people look from the outside into Cambridge and see that we are a very prosperous and a growing community, and we have all kinds of assets and potential, and they want to settle here too. So I think Cambridge has got all kinds of opportunities for new business coming in. I hate to use it, but the saying is it's all right here, and I really believe it is all right here.
Thank you. Now to Patricia.
Just not ready for that one. Cutting the red tape, making it so that the new business that's wanting to come doesn't have to jump through hoops. Speaking from experience, when I opened my own business, there was a lot of red tape. So just cutting that tape and making it quicker.
Thank you. TRACY.
Yeah, to get businesses, for sure, we're opening up business parks. We are on the 401, but businesses look at other businesses to see how they're doing, what taxes they're paying, how much infrastructure we've got, the help from the community, and what's here. We've got, with the multiplex that's up in arms right now, businesses are seeing this, and if we can't make a decision on, big money items like this, they could be a little leery that they might not, come to Cambridge. Again, red tape is for sure. I'm actually know of a business right now that's trying to get low-income housing in, and they've contacted the city, and they're not getting back to. It's a great idea. It's actually They're looking at it for my ward. It's a red tape. We got to get out there to get these businesses in and promote them. Without businesses, Cambridge is not going to keep growing the way we are. And we have to take advantage of the 401. 401 is the corridor to probably more people than in Ontario that can service us. We said we got to open up these business parks and get these businesses in, and anything we can do to help them through council and in the city, we have to do it.
Okay, thank you, candidates. And an interesting topic was brought up there in that last question as well, about affordable housing. We hear it in every debate that we've done right across Waterloo Region. How would you suggest the best way to create more affordable housing and fix the deficit that currently exists with the wait list of people waiting to get into affordable housing? And we'll begin this question with Patricia.
For affordable housing, if we were able to use some of the buildings that are already up, like the Preston Springs, that building, if we could use that and help put the money into it to make it so that there is affordable housing in there, or other buildings like that.
Thank you. Tracy?
Yeah, like I just said in my last comment, there is a builder right now looking at affordable housing, low-income housing in Ward 3 right now. Their plan is the shipping containers. I've seen the plans for it. They've already looking at a lot. They're beautiful. I mean, it's an awesome idea. It's their own land, so they would be the landlord in that. So I think how we could get it is, if we have vacant land that's not being used in the city, is for the city to pursue this with, not necessarily this company, but with another company, take over that ownership of that, and they'll look after it. The city runs it. It's on vacant land that's not earning any money right now anyways. Get these things in here. They'll pay off in time, and then it's basically the city reaps all the benefits from these things. Other than that, I mean, it's taxes again. We got to keep the taxes lower, or a lot of us are going to be looking for low-income housing. But red tape, again, we got to help these businesses start these and get back to these guys so they can help out with the low-income housing and get started.
Thank you. Mike?
Thanks, Jeff. Affordable housing is a key issue for all of us in Cambridge on City Council, and it's something that we struggle with because we don't have enough affordable housing, and it's an issue every time we have builders coming into the city. And we have identified a percentage of builds that have to have affordable housing in them. And one location is the Satellite Hotel on Hespeler Road. I think there are 33 units in that build that will be affordable housing. But interestingly enough, there's a unit at the corner of Dolph Street and King Street that is going to be converted into affordable housing, and there's a plan already that's percolating in relation to that, so that affordable housing can be constructed there. I was speaking to an individual today who showed me the size of affordable housing units in the complex that he runs, and it was very interesting to see a unit that was probably 15 feet by 30 feet, and it had a living room, a bedroom, a kitchen, and a bathroom in it, and it was small, but it wasn't too small. And the way it was designed, it looked big. And I think we have got to put a greater effort and greater emphasis on affordable housing, because people, one of the first things they need is housing and shelter, and food and shelter are the two most important things for people when they come into the community, and they have got to have those two mainstays in their lives. I look at Preston Springs as well, and I think it would be a great place for affordable housing. It would also be a great place for student housing, for that matter, for Conestoga College. But opportunities are present in our community, and we have to take advantage of them. We have to make the process simple so that we can work with those who want to work with us and have affordable housing in the community.
Okay, thank you, candidates. That's an issue we might get back to in a little bit, but now I want to turn to another issue that's been hanging around Cambridge, certainly for the last number of years, and that's the Cambridge Multiplex. Just a kind of open-ended question here. Where do you think the best location is for the long-awaited Cambridge Multiplex? What do you think the best solution is for that facility? And we'll begin the answers this with Tracy.
Yep, that's definitely a big argument right now. Disagree with going to Conestoga College unless they're going to pay the whole price for it. I still play sports. I still play hockey. I talked to Buckingham Sports, and they're still willing to build 2 rinks at their cost. The city owns that land where the ice park is currently located, so we're still own that. They're paying taxes to us. I don't agree with a multiplex. I think it can still be split up. My idea would be to decommission or repurpose the Carl Hellmuth Arena in Preston, remove the forestry building, relocate, and build the aquatic center onto Preston Memorial Auditorium. Preston is the only community that doesn't have an indoor pool right now, so I think that fit could possibly work. I don't really think we need to put everything, all our, as they say, eggs on the basket. People still have the community. We still go to Hesper. They've got the 2 rinks. We still go to Galt with Shade Street, and we still go to Preston. To have everything centrally located would have to be in Cambridge, but where are we going to put it? That's going to be the big determining factor, but totally disagree with it going to Conestoga. Thanks.
Okay, Mike?
Thank you. You know, it's a very hot issue. It's a multi-million-dollar project, and one that's we thought it was going to be 68 million. It's up around 100 million. Is it something that we can afford? And maybe what we can afford is to section it off and a pool down on Hesper Road somewhere. And I think we have property at the corner of Hesper Road and I think it's Saginaw Parkway, Canamera Parkway. There's a place there where we could put a pool, a large pool, a good facility that would accommodate all the aquatic needs that we have. I think if we did something like TRACY has suggested, refurbish one of our hockey arenas and build a multi-unit there. I don't think it has to be all at one place, and I don't think we can afford it all at one place. I think taxpayers are almost at the tipping point as far as paying taxes are concerned, and I would not want to see double-digit taxes for the city of Cambridge. So I think if we section it off and we do a little bit at a time, we can build a very good aquatic center, and we could build a very good arena center in 2 different locations. Something on Hesper Road and something down at Bishop and Hamilton might be the ideal locations. But I think it's got to be separate because we can't afford, at this point in time, to do one big center.
Thank you. Patricia?
The pool down at where the arena is, that is a very good idea, Tracy. To have another pool up on Hesper Road, there's already the YMCA pool there. Why put another pool up there? Bring it down to Preston. Keep it in Preston and keep it separate.
Okay, thank you, candidates. I want to turn now to cycling. That's also been another issue chatted about right across the region in every city, in every ward. Does anything need to be done to make Cambridge a more cycling-friendly city? If so, what? And we're going to begin the answers with Mike.
Thanks, Jeff. And the answer to that is yes. You know, as a cyclist myself, I enjoy getting out on my bike, and in fact, I was out this weekend and I took the Paris to Cambridge Trail. And it's great to be able to get out and do that, and the number of people that you see is great. And I think what we need to do is make sure that we have trails that will connect Galt, Preston, and Hesper. Because if you can't get out and get around, then it's going to stop people from doing it. One of the things that has stopped us, unfortunately, is the construction that we've experienced this past year has really been a damper. But I think we have got to have cycling lanes on our main roads. We have to improve the opportunity for people to cycle, and we have to educate the public that that's one of the means of transportation that people want to use. And I think that there's a big education component for those who drive cars and for those who cycle, because all of us have to obey the rules of the road, and we want to make sure that we can do this safely. The biggest thing is to make sure that we identify those cycling lanes and we have those trails in place. I know there are trails that we've connected throughout the city, and but I don't think we can do enough of that because the desire is there, and the people who want to do it are certainly making it clear that that's what they want.
Patricia?
I think that the cycling lanes and the trails are very important, especially to link everybody together. Going all the way to Paris on a bike, kudos. I can't do that for sure. But to be able to do that is awesome. I would like to see more trails.
Okay, thank you. Tracy?
Yeah, actually, I totally agree with what Mike said. We've got to implement, people like to ride the bikes, they like to do the asphalt, they like to do the mountain biking. So the more trails we can make in this community is better. And for sure, I mean, people don't want to ride on the road. You're taking sometimes your life in your hands. So we got to really get out there and let the public know that these bikes are out there, bike lanes or whatever we can do. I know the new one put in on Conestoga Boulevard is in. The other main one that I noticed is the one down Blair Road going all the way from Fountain Street Bridge down to the Gulp on George Street, or down to the main bridge. But yeah, I mean, trails with bikes, I mean, everybody's doing it, and even the walking trails, we need more of them, and they got to be maintained. But I totally agree with that. We got to do more to keep the public up to date and the riders safe.
Okay, thank you, candidates. Hold on to my pen here. I want to ask now another simple kind of open-ended question. If elected, what initiatives would you undertake first and why? And we'll begin the answers with Patricia.
That I have no idea. As I said before, I was not prepared for doing a debate and no paperwork. But to talk with the people, find out what they want. Talk with the mayor and make sure that it's implemented. But find out what the people want, first and foremost.
Thank you. Tracy.
Talk to the people, see what they want. Probably the number one thing I'm going to do is look at the budget when it comes up. The increases that we're looking at are unsustainable for people. We're looking at 5% for this year, maybe more. Along with that, we're looking at increased hydro rates that were just proposed again. Water and hydro, I mean, when we add all this up, it's going to be a lot of money. Taxpayers are what involves with me. I'm going to make sure that the taxpayers get what they deserve at City Hall, and that'll be what I'm looking at. Infrastructure, of course. Infrastructure has to be done, or we're going to pay more money in the end. Also, again, with the multiplex, we're going to have to find something, because we're falling behind other communities to give a good class community for everybody to use in Cambridge.
Thank you. Mike.
Thanks, Jeff. And there are two important things that I'll look at right away. The 60-day review of the dam in Riverside Park ends on Friday. And so the dam in Riverside Park is going to be rebuilt unless there are any other opponents between now and then. But that's one thing that's been on the books for many years, and this is something that I would love to see get done, because it's been something that the public have wanted to see for many, many years. And we're at a time now where we can have the opportunity to get the dam done, and I would like to see that completed. The construction on King Street is going to be a huge issue, and I want to communicate with all the members along King Street on what that's going to do, what that's going to be, how that's going to look, and how it's going to affect them, and how we can work with them to make it as the impact as little as possible, because the businesses on King Street are the ones who are going to be impacted, and the people of our community are the ones who are going to be impacted. So I want to make sure that I talk to them, and we talk about what that's going to look like and how we can make that as least impactful as possible. The other thing that was mentioned was the budget, and that's something that I would like to take a hard look at, because the budget increases have been significant. One of the things we did this year was we built a new fire station, and we hired 20 new firefighters. And as you know, the first call that they went to was the OPP station on Beaverdale Road. And fortunately, we had the service there to provide the response that was needed. But as was stated, our increases are not sustainable, and we're at that tipping point, and we have got to make sure that the taxpayer is not being squeezed to the point where they can't afford it anymore. So I want to take a look at the budget. I want to make sure that we take a line-by-line look at the budget.
Okay, thank you, candidates. And again, just want to thank you guys all for coming in and being here and putting your name forward, which brings me to my next question. It is difficult to put yourself out there and run for elected office. So I want to ask you guys, why is it that you want to be a councillor? Why is it that you want to serve? And we'll begin this answer with Tracy.
Yep. I dealt a lot with the Bishop Street community with the contamination. I was an advocate for that group. I was pretty involved with it. I was actually one of the ones that, I was the only one that stood up and helped them get taxes reduced on property taxes. I was asked to run because I'm up to date. I grew up in Preston. I've lived here my whole life. I'm a community guy. I helped do the memorial benches at the Legion, which is at the Cenotaph too, which was a great project that was given back to the people in Preston. It's hard to run. You get scrutinized, and it's a lot of time. But I feel with my background that I can stand up and answer some questions for people that don't get answers to. I'm not afraid to step up, And I think we need change on council.
Thank you. Mike.
Thanks. And serving others has always been a part of who I am. And as I said earlier, I've always enjoyed the opportunity to serve people, and there's a joy and a satisfaction that you get out of that. I've been on 2 work terms to MANN, Peru, and one to Anado Bay in Jamaica, where I've served others by building a daycare center. And the satisfaction that you get out of that is unbelievable, and I want to bring that to the city. I want to serve you, and I feel it's a privilege and an honor to serve that. And like I said, I've done it for my whole career. I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this is a full-time job, and I made it a full-time job so that when somebody calls about snow removal or about grass needing cutting or about a water bill, I make myself available and I visit those folks so that I can see what the issue is and I can report it to City Hall and I can get what needs to be done. Because those are the things that really affect our community, and when people see those things and they see that the results are done, then they feel satisfied. And I'm out there to complete the work that needs to be done, and I'm out there to satisfy those who I have committed myself to serve. I enjoy serving others. I'm good at it. It's who I am, and I represent the city well, locally, provincially, nationally, and internationally. Most important, I enjoy serving you, my constituents. I may not always get the answer that you want, but I am always willing to go the extra mile for you, because you are the most important person in our community.
Thank you. Patricia.
Speaking of going the extra mile, through my work, I've done many community fundraisers, in which we call it going the extra mile at my work. And all the money that we raise has always stayed in the community. I want to try and do that and help out with the city more.
Thank you. Okay, now this is a fun one that typically when my colleague Greg DeRocher from the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce is here loves to ask. You are magically donated $5 million to put to use of anything you want within your ward. The question is, how would you spend that miracle $5 million? And we'll begin the answers with Mike.
That's a great question. I'd love to pool the money with my opponents here and we'd have 15 million and then we could really do something. But $5 million, there are a couple of things I would like to do. I would love to see a bridge across the Speed River so that people, the youth going back and forth to PHS wouldn't have to go all the way around King Street and Fountain Street to get to high school. From the kids from Preston Heights and the subdivisions and the developments out that way would be able to take that bridge and get to Preston High School a lot faster, a lot safer than traversing Shawns Hill, Fountain Street, King Street, and then into Preston High School. The other thing I would like to do is I would like to partner with the universities and the college and see if we can't develop some initiative, some program to help develop our young people, because our young people have such incredible talent, and I would like to see that talent built and fostered so that they could experience the talent that they have and they could develop that talent further. The young people of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and we need to develop into them. We need to have programs and initiatives for them so that they can experience those talents that they have, they can build on them and find out where it is and what it is that they want to do in life. And I think $2 million or $5 million, some for a bridge and some to help develop our youth, would be an excellent opportunity for us to take advantage and to really work and build into the youth who are the leaders of tomorrow.
Patricia.
$5 million, whew, that's a lot. It'd be great. I would want to split it. Education for a lot of it, and then also worrying about the seniors, giving them more things to do, that they're not confined into their building, so that they can go out of their building and visit with friends, do things with them.
Thank you. Tracy.
I guess it went up because Greg used to say it was 2 million, but
Yeah,
I guess Preston must be, we need more money, I guess.
Put it up to 5.
What I would do is definitely during construction and after construction, I would take some of that money and promote the businesses. Like I said before, the downtown core is our heart of Preston. We need that down core downtown core to be profitable, and we need the downtown core businesses there. Other things that I would like is I'd like to hit the parks again, get the parks going. I've heard right now that we're short staff on doing parks, and they're falling behind on trails and stuff. So I'd like to give those guys some help too, and get more whatever we need to do the trails. Any other groups that are in Preston that do a lot of charity work and stuff like that, I'd probably like to help them out, because it is the community, and try to keep obviously keep the $5 million in downtown Preston, and help those people out. And other than that, you could probably just have a get together and show people how the community gets together, and whatever's left over probably wouldn't be much after the 5, and celebrate with the people that actually visit downtown and promote Preston.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. That concludes the question and answer period of tonight's session. We'll now get into closing remarks. Once again, each candidate will have 2 minutes for closing remarks. We'll begin in reverse order, so we're going to start with Mike Mann.
Thanks, Jeff. I'd like to thank Rogers for the opportunity to participate in this debate, and specifically Jeff. I also want to thank my opponents, Patricia and Tracy. Cambridge is a destination point for many reasons, including our heritage, arts and culture, the business opportunities available, world-class educational facilities, recreational services, amenities and services that address the needs and wants of families and businesses, and the uniqueness of the river system that flows through each community, uniting us as Cambridge. These are only a few of the reasons why people enjoy our great city and choose to live here. Tonight we have answered many questions identifying problems and potential solutions to these problems. My responsibility and my commitment to you is to ensure we maintain a safe, secure, and healthy community for all to enjoy as we move forward. I'm committed to this goal and providing essential services while maintaining the lowest possible tax increase. It has been a humbling experience for me to have been elected to serve you for the past 4 years. Thank you. I am dedicated, determined, and committed to continue to provide the same quality service for the next term of council. I have the time, the desire, and the energy to work for you at City Hall, and to get the answers to your problems and concerns, and to get the job done. Preston will experience significant change this term with the infrastructure replacement and streetscaping of King Street, and the dam replacement in Riverside Park. I want to work with you, my community, to see the completion of these projects and many others. Over the course of my career as a police officer and as your elected official, I have received much. Serving you for another term would be an honor and a privilege. It allows me to give back to my community in a small way for all that I have received. On October 22nd, I ask that you vote Mike Mann for Ward 3.
Okay, thank you. Now to Tracy HIPEL.
Okay. Since I started running for council, all I've been hearing is that the residents in Cambridge want change. I believe that keeping the same council will not bring about that change, but a vote for me will be a step in the right direction to bring the change that is needed. I have proved that I can get things done. By working with residents in the Bishop Street area, I was able to get information to keep them informed on the ongoing environmental issues, represented them at an environmental tribunal, and in 2017 was successful in getting property tax reductions for a number of those residents. I appealed to the Assessment Review Board of Ontario to get a further reduction of my own property taxes and received notice on August 8th of this year that I was successful. My unique knowledge of this area, success in dealing with 3 levels of government, supports my ability to successfully represent the critical issues facing Ward 3. As your councillor for Ward 3, I will step up, speak up, and stand up for you. So remember, vote TRACY HIPEL on October 22nd for the change you need and deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Patricia Burkowski.
From the people that I've talked to in Preston, change is needed. I want my voice to be your voice, and I didn't have anything prepped, so I don't know. Just getting people out there to vote for Patricia. Thank you.
Okay, once again, I'd like to take the time to thank our 3 candidates for being here tonight and putting your name forward and running. As mentioned, it's a difficult thing to do, so we congratulate you on that. Make sure to watch Rogers TV on the night of October 22nd for up-to-the-minute local results. And of course, you can listen to 570 News. Head to kitchenertoday.com and 570news.com to see stories in the lead up to that October 22nd election. Once again, thanks for watching and good night.